Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 45-year-old Mississippi resident Thomas Smith posted memes online prior to the Capitol attack, and he indicated that he welcomed violence as a mean to achieve his political goals. He also tried to recruit, quote, able-bodied Americans to join him in D.C., and on January 6th, Smith attended Donald Trump's speech at the Ellipse with his cousin, it's also his co-defendant, Donnie Wren. Then they headed to the Capitol, and when they reached the restricted grounds, Smith was seen on video climbing the inauguration scaffolding, and then he entered the lower West Terrace tunnel. So he maneuvered to the front of the crowd, towards the front of the mob in the tunnel, and he was still stuck behind several people. He wasn't at the very front of the police line. So he used a flagpole that he was carrying like a spear, and he was trying to break the window next to one of the interior tunnel doors. The door had already been shattered. He was trying to break a window next to it. So Smith struck the glass 5 times, and then as the mob rushed forward through the doors, he followed them. He ended up retreating, though, because he was sprayed with chemicals, and then he headed to the upper West Terrace. Again, he moved to the front of the mob, he started to confront the police, and he leaned backwards into the police line. So several minutes later, there was an object that flew past Smith, someone else threw it, and it struck an officer. And then Smith was heard saying, quote, "You deserve that, you piece of shit." Then Smith kicked another officer in the back when he had his back turned to him. And then as a result, that officer fell to the ground. So Smith backed off again temporarily because he was hit with pepper spray. But then he approached the police line again and he threw a metal pole at the officers, and that struck 2 officers in the head. And according to the prosecutor, Smith was on the Capitol grounds and committed various acts of violence for approximately 2 hours. Then following the Capitol attack, Smith posted on Facebook, he wrote, quote, "Patriots stood together and battled the tyrannical cops throughout the entire afternoon." And in a private Facebook message, he told someone in part, quote, "We stormed the Capitol, got inside, but was met with a wall of cops. We pushed them back a good ways." And quote, "They got their asses beat for a minute. We drugged a couple out. Nobody got hurt. They did get drugged out away from their cop friends, which was funny." No punctuation. And yes, it says drugged, not dragged. Anyway, in another message exchange, Smith wrote, quote, "Had to take and give a little ass kicking to the police, but we come out all right." When he was asked if he saw any Trump supporters with weapons, Smith replied, quote, "There were no armed people at this rally. I had a pistol in my pocket, but no, nobody ever pulled a gun or used any other weapon against the police. All that shit is made up." Again, no punctuation. And, no weapons, except for the metal pole that he used to crack 2 officers in the head, the flagpole he was using to break a window. Anyway, so Smith was arrested in October of 2021. And in a second superseding indictment, he was charged with 2 counts of civil disorder, obstructing an official proceeding, 2 counts of assaulting officers, 1 count of assaulting officers with a dangerous weapon, entering restricted grounds with a dangerous weapon, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, 1 of which also included a dangerous weapon enhancement, and 2 counts of physical violence, again, 1 of which also included the dangerous weapon enhancement. Smith refused a plea deal. He opted for a jury trial, and the jury found that Smith repeatedly lied on the witness stand and that he tried to minimize his actions at the Capitol. And in May of 2023, Smith was convicted on all counts. Based on the obstruction conviction, Smith was looking at up to 20 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $250,000 in fines. And this time, the prosecutor requested a decent sentence. They asked for 14 years in prison, a fine of $19,495, and $2,000 in restitution. And this was one of the more severe sentence requests because of what the government cites as a, quote, significant and disturbing history of arrest and conviction. So here's what all he's been convicted of or arrested for. In 2011, Smith was convicted of careless driving and driving under the influence, and they say that he still has an outstanding fine for that crime. In March of 2021, so just 2 months after the Capitol attack, Smith was arrested in Mississippi, and he was charged with embezzlement by a public employee. That case is still pending. Then in November of 2021, while he's, under indictment, has been arrested, is being looked at for all of this stuff with embezzlement, January 6th, Smith was arrested again and charged with child abuse without bodily harm. And the prosecutor noted, quote, the disturbing details are recounted in the pretrial sentencing report. So Smith ended up being convicted in that case, the child abuse case, in May of 2022, but he was convicted of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. And his sentencing memo doesn't mention what the exact crime was, what the punishment entailed. So I don't know. When I find out, if I find out, I will definitely let you all know. But, we have another repeat offender for Donald Trump. Why am I not shocked? As the saying goes, your vibe attracts your tribe. Anyway, U.S. District Judge Reggie Walton presided over Smith's case. I couldn't locate any details about what was said at the sentencing hearing, but Smith was sentenced to 9 years in prison and 3 years of probation. So this is among the longest sentences handed down so far. And then let's hope he receives even more time for the embezzlement and for the child abuse that he already has. Clearly, when Trump sends his people, he's not sending his best, right? They're bringing crime, they're bringing violence, and some, I assume, are good people. Yeah. All right, I'll let you all know when I hear more. And like I said, if I find out about that other sentence, I will definitely fill you in. So thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like this video, share it, become a subscriber, become a donor, or leave a tip or super thanks if you can. Really appreciate it. Love you all. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.